Hi class, today we're going to talk about Google Docs and using Google Docs to build your resume. So Google Docs is free. It's part of Gmail or Google products. It is very similar to Microsoft Word, but you can do collaborations and some other things with it as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. One thing about your resume is you might think, oh, I don't really need a resume yet. I'm not planning on working right away, things like that. But you can use your resume to help you get into church camp. You can help your resume to get babysitting jobs, lawnmower jobs, or you can even dream about jobs that you might want to have in the future, jobs that might not even be developed yet, or jobs that you already know about, but you are really wanting to see, how could I be employed for this. One thing about the resume is if you do all of a sudden need to apply for the church camp or apply for a job, if you don't have a brainstorm of your resume, it will be really hard to pull it together under too short of circumstances. So I always suggest to have a rough resume ready and then tweak it to the actual job you're applying for. God gave you each amazing gifts and talents. He wants us to use them for his kingdom, to represent him, to witness to others for Christ, to spread the gospel. So keep that in mind while you are preparing your resume. God made you just the way you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Okay, so you're going to go to Google Docs. And then you're going to click on, instead of starting just a blank new document, there's a template gallery. And go to the general template gallery, and here you will see several different things that might actually come in handy for different projects that you're doing, class notes or lesson plans, report covers, letters. But if you go down, there are 5 different standard resumes that the formatting are already there. So remember what we've been talking about all along. Color communicates. Font choices matter. If you're applying for a very conservative job, you're not going to want to pick the more trendy one. If you're applying for something that's a little bit more new or cutting edge, you're going to want your resume to look new and cutting edge. And remember, the color communicates. So if you're applying for maybe something that has to do with the environment or something like that, you would use if you're going to use color, choosing to use color, you would want to keep your color choices in that range, maybe greens, things like that. You probably wouldn't want to do reds or yellows. Yellows are going to be hard to read. So just remember all of those things we've been learning all semester long, that it does matter. So we're going to choose this Swiss one for the demonstration. But again, really think about, what is it that my goal is? What do I want to focus on? What do I want my resume to look like? Am I going for a trendy job? Am I going for a very conservative job? Am I babysitting someone who the client is a little bit older, or are they pretty young themselves? What would they want my resume to look like? Yes. So like we've talked about all semester in digital presentations, is that really the presentation is not about what we want to show, but it's what our audience needs to know so that we can communicate clearly. Because if we can't even get them to look at our item, then we haven't communicated at all. So you'll click on one of your choices, and you can take it from here. You would not even have to use one of these examples if you don't want, but it does have some formatting for you already. But you're going to just basically fill it in. And if you don't have a real job in mind that you're applying for, you won't be using this or something, you could make up the data so that you can just get the experience of a resume, but you can put in fake information. Now, if you are going to be using this for a real job application, please, please, please ensure that your name and your email address and your phone number are correct. There is nothing worse than putting your phone number or your email address down and it is not accurate. They can't get a hold of you if they wanted to hire you, and it does not look professional at all. Make sure you use the spell check of Google Docs to make sure that you are spelling things correctly. You want to make sure you're putting your very, very best foot forward. So that includes making sure that you are spelling things correctly. So this one will walk you through. You can put your skills, your experience, your education, any awards that you have been. Really, as you are young and still in high school, or maybe even not quite into high school yet, you still have things to put down from here. Think of the different things you've done at chess. Have you helped with a chapel? Have you helped clean up after lunch? Are you a part of the ambassador program at chess? Think of your youth group. Are you actively involved in youth group? Do you have farm chores or house chores that are above and beyond maybe even the normal duties? Do you help in your church in a major way? Do you have a certain role that you play in your family that might be a little bit unique and set you apart? A resume is selling yourself. Not going above and beyond what you actually do, but wording and selling yourself and the God-given talents that God has given to you in your very best way possible. And for the education part, you can put where you are currently going to school and maybe what your focus is, your GPA, things like that, to really show what skills you have. Okay? And just like in Microsoft Word, Google Sheets has where you can do bold and italics and underline. You can change fonts. You can put in links if you needed to, and lots of different editing features. And then this, I realize my screen share is just a little bit off, but this share button right here, you could just share it right with me directly from here when you have completed your assignment. So Google Docs can be a great way to share with other people too. If you are trying to collaborate, it is very useful for that as well. You can download it, you can make a copy, you can do lots of different things. I'm looking forward to seeing your resumes and going through and learning a little bit more about you or maybe a job you're desiring in the future.